The snow fell mercilessly that cold afternoon. The wind howled as if it were shouting warnings no one could hear. In that forgotten corner of Alaska, a solitary man was preparing for another ordinary night. But that night would not be like any other. Warren Pierce lived alone in an old cabin, in the heart of the frozen wilderness. Used to the silence, the cold, and the dangers of nature, he thought he had seen it all. But that afternoon, when he looked out the frosted window, his world stopped. 2 wolves. They were there. Standing still, at the edge of his property. But something was wrong. They weren't growling. They weren't showing their teeth. They were pleading, shaking legs, begging eyes. The smaller wolf kicked the door. A low whine. It wasn't a threat. It was desperation. Warren froze. A shiver ran down his spine, and it wasn't just from the cold. Wolves don't act like this. He walked slowly to the door. Doubt gnawed at his mind. What if it's a trap? What if I'm wrong? But something stronger moved him. An almost irrational impulse. He opened the door. The wind slammed into him, as if trying to stop that moment. But it was too late. The wolves didn't attack. They took hesitant steps inside. Eyes locked onto Warren's. A moment that seemed to last forever. And then, silence. And that was where it all began. Inside the cabin, the warmth of the fire met the wolves' frozen bodies. Warren watched intently, noticing the obvious injury on the smaller wolf's paw. The other, larger one, with a scar across its snout, kept its eyes on him. Guardian? Brother? Alpha? The tension in the air was palpable. Warren kneeled, the first aid kit in his hands. If I make a wrong move, I could be dead. But the wolf allowed it. With a muffled groan, it accepted the touch. Warren cleaned the wound, applied ointment, and wrapped it carefully. The other wolf didn't budge. It just watched. Like it understood. Something about that scene didn't make sense. It was as if these animals understood. As if they knew. As if they trusted him. The night fell. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, the fire crackled. And in Warren's heart, an unsettling feeling grew. Why did they come to me? Where did they come from? What were they running from? Or who? And then, something moved outside. A shadow in the snow. Warren jumped to his feet. He grabbed the lantern. Walked to the window. Someone was watching the cabin. He opened the door cautiously. A sharp cold slapped his face. Nothing. Only the darkness of the forest. But there were tracks. And they were circling the cabin. He wasn't alone. Warren put on his coat, stepped out, following the trail. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Then, a voice. Low. Female. Urgent. Are they in there? Warren spun around. A woman, wrapped in a thick cloak, her face mostly hidden, was staring at him. But her eyes, intense. Determined. And worried. They aren't what they seem. I've been tracking them for days. They escaped. They need to be contained. Contained? The word hit like poison. Warren's heart raced. She didn't seem like a hunter. Nor a simple traveler. What if she was an agent? A researcher? Or something worse? Why? What do you know about them? More than you can imagine. Silence. The wind howled again. Inside the cabin, the wolves were standing. The larger wolf was growling softly, alert. The smaller one, even injured, was rising, eyes fixed on the door. Warren felt the air shift. Something was about to happen. And he had no idea what he had just invited into his life.